Hey, hola, bom dia. Carl Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, YouTube channel and podcast with expatsportugal.com. Of course, how are you today? Tudo bem? Do let me know in the comments, and very interested to hear your Portuguese life hacks today. I mentioned that because I have one myself to do with cash machines, and I need to check something with you. Am I right in thinking that sometimes on a Portuguese multibanco cash machine or any of the cash machines, sometimes you are given, when you go to take money out, you're given the choice of 40 or 60, but never 50? Now, why would that be? Am I first of all correct in thinking that? And I have a hack to get round that, which I discovered yesterday quite by accident, which I want to share with you. But I think it's to make you take out more money than you want, right? Because that's kind of good for the economy, maybe, if not good for you necessarily. But I need to check that with you first, and I'll come back to that. I've also got something to tell you about Vodafone, the cheeky rascals. You'll see on the bottom of the screen a new thing, terça-feira, dia 3 de outubro. That will be the date. So helping you learn Portuguese. We're stepping it up, folks. We're going to learn this language, all right? We can do this together. We can build back better. Oh, no, sorry, wrong context. Yes, we should have to. Not we should have to. I want to learn the language, and I want us to get together and do that together. Together, we are stronger. I can't help lapsing into political phrases. We're in this together, learning the Portuguese language, but you know what I mean. So let's step up our efforts. We do have Palavras do dia, which today are connected to the miracle of the sun. And those are the words of the day. Milagre do sol, the amazing convergence of people in Fatima today who are celebrating the 1917 miracle phenomenon that I'll tell you a little bit about. I told you a lot about it last night on the Portugal show, the evening edition. So watch the replay of that if you want to know more. But just wanted to give you those as the words of the day and just tell you a little bit about what's happening in Fatima today. It's quite extraordinary. And we are getting words of encouragement. You can learn Portuguese. Você pode aprender português, says Anna. Anna is a really good friend of the show and of Expats Portugal. So delighted to have your support and encouragement. And coming back to me on the bank thing, you have to choose other amounts. Now, I'm not sure that's always there on the screen. So I'll do my hack anyway. I'll do my hack anyway, just in case you are trapped between 40 and 60 euros. I'm pretty sure sometimes you don't get that choice. And there isn't the other amounts button. If there is, forgive me, my bad, my mistake. But I've got a way of getting around that in case there isn't the other amounts button. Rather be even than odd. It's one way of looking at it. Thanks, Dominique, for that. And Elsa Riley says, good morning. Morning to you, Elsa. Great to Elsa. Good to have you on the show with us this morning. And yeah, good mornings from Anna. I'm going back in time. I'm time traveling here. Bon dia from Anna, and a morning all from Dominique. Cool. Good morning to you, Dominique. Great to have your company. And you're right. It is perhaps better to be even than odd. Although a little bit of oddness and eccentricity is not such a bad thing, is it? Ty, good morning to you. Over there in the UK, I suspect fresh, but at least we have blue skies. Or are you back? I don't know. You globetrotter, I don't know where you are. And you don't have to say if you don't want to. Sometimes there are no 10 papers. Oh, I see, of course. So that might be one reason why you're getting the 40 and 60 choice. Yeah, Mrs. M said that. I'm so proud of my Portuguese life hack. So I'm going to do it anyway. But I can see that I may well be wrong. So there we go. We'll take that off the screen today. Terça-feira, the Tuesday, of course, Portuguese for Tuesday, and 3 de outubro is the 13th of October. If I ever forget to do that in the morning, please remind me. I want us to learn the language, as I said, and these basics, I think, are really cool and important, and just slowly tickle our subconscious mind into getting a grasp of the vocabulary. Back to your comments now. Hola, bon dia from a cool and cloudy Southampton. Final countdown. Europe at its best. Absolutely. So appropriate, Paul, for you this morning. One day to go, I believe. We're all rooting for you. Look, even Ty's asking you how many days now, Paul. I think we're down to the one day, aren't we? Bon dia. The only thing that's worked for me to learn Portuguese is an app called Memrise. Thank you for that suggestion, Andrea Pereira. I guess you have a Portuguese surname, so that's got to be a good start, hasn't it? But memorize you're recommending, which is good to know. Anything that works and helps, we need to know about. OMG, Ana Lucia, great to hear from you. It's been ages. In Rochester at the moment, it's drizzling. Rochester in Kent. Mrs. M comes from over that way. The Garden of England, Kent, of course, although I think she described herself coming from near the compost heap of the Garden of England. But good morning to you in Rochester, Ana Lucia. Yes, great to hear from you. And from California. My goodness, what time must it be, Thane, in California right now? But good effort. Good effort and a bon dia from you. Started off as a bon dia, evolved into a bon dia. Excellent. Bon dia, Carl, from Jeff. Been in the business trenches the last week or so. Hope to be in circulation soon. Dalogo. Fair enough, Jeff. Man's got to do what a man's got to do. And good morning to Grassa as well, who's here. Oh, the comments are coming in thick and fast. Look, my Barcelo cockerel here, who's saying hello to the other Barcelo cockerel on the screen. Made for me by Grassa. Good morning to you. Hola, bon dia, Grassa. Great to have your company this morning. Who wants more than 50 euros out of the bank? Do you want to buy a house? Very many a mickle makes a muckle, whatever that is in Dutch. I don't know, but yeah, I wanted to take 50 out yesterday, and I couldn't. I'll do the life hack now. Then I couldn't, for the life of me, see how to take 50 out. I was being offered 40 or 60. I was thinking, no. That's not what I want to do. Where is my Portuguese life hack legend that's supposed to be on the screen anyway? It's almost like a visual jingle, but we'll have to do without that today. We'll stick the Palavras do dia instead up there. Milagre do Sol, the 13th of October, important day in the Portuguese calendar in Fatima. But yes, back to this life hack. If you do find yourself in that situation at a cash machine where you are being asked to take 40 or 60 out of the cash machine, notwithstanding what Ferry's saying there, yes, why on earth would you want to take more than 50 out? And Gary, what's Gary saying? 50 to 60 euros difference is a couple of bottles of decent wine from Lidl. Absolutely, little by little. And yes, well said, Gary. So you don't want the bank to make you take out 60. You want to take out 50. So there, if on the screen it says you've got the choice, 40 or 60, press 5 on the keyboard. And then the cash machine will spark up into accessible voice-led commands, which is also a good way of learning Portuguese. Although I struggled actually to keep up with the mechanized AI lady of the cash machine who was talking to me in Portuguese. But if you press 5, you can then press 1, and then you can program in the number of euros you want to take out. That's how I did it yesterday. That's my life hack for Portugal. Do you have any similar life hacks? So again, if you are faced with 40 or 60, press 5 in the middle. The cash machine, believe it or not, will start talking to you. And then you can press number 1, which will give you the command to program in directly. Whilst the Portuguese lady is talking to you, the machine lady is talking to you, you will have the chance to program in the exact number of euros you want. Obviously, it's got to be round numbers and multiples of 10s and 20s, no doubt. But then I put in 50 and I was given 50. So I was quite proud of that, but it just seems that you are generally quite unimpressed by my life hack. Have you got a better one in Portugal? I do have something of a life hack in Portugal. I used to sing the praises of Vodafone, but they've given me so much pain just recently. I've got another thing to add to the list of reasons why perhaps you should think twice about being with Vodafone. Although I've had a few years good service, it all went horribly wrong just recently. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a little while. Thane, 107 in Los Angeles right now. Good on you. I don't know if you're sat up enjoying a bottle of Portuguese red and our company, but we're starting the day here at 9 o'clock here in Portugal, Lisbon time, and there you are, 1 o'clock in Los Angeles. Good effort, Thane. Limit is 200, sometimes 150 I discover as well, but yes, 200 on the cash machine. Learning a lot about Portuguese cash machines this morning. And did you know, says Anna, that multibanco is a Portuguese invention? I did. And I think wasn't that because it's to do with the kind of canny money-mindedness of Portuguese people. And they thought, well, we don't want to give all these commissions away to the banking institutions. We'll start our own system. And they did. And there you have it, multibanco, which I think we need to do a deeper dive into how multibanco works, because there's all sorts of things you can do on it. This is why sometimes you will be standing behind somebody at a cash machine and they'll have 27 different bills in their hand, and you'll wait there while they do all their housekeeping in front of you on the cash machine. No one bats an eyelid. When it's your turn in Portugal. But it is a useful and interesting thing to get used to, how people can probably do anything with the multibanco machine. It makes coffee as well, I understand, if you know the right buttons to press. Hola, bon dia from sunny Brixham. From Penny, good morning to you, Penny. Getting excited about the wine club on Thursday. A lovely Alentejo White, beautiful looking bottle chosen by Frank and Rachel in Lisbon. They are the wine ninjas who are leading the tasting at 9 o'clock on Thursday. You Urabic want to charge me if I ask for money over the counter. Charge! Listen, I can hear him saying this. Charge for giving me my money back. Ha! Outraged of Leicester there. Ty aggrieved by the idea of being charged for having his own money back. They've got to go to the safe and get it, Ty. And probably, you know, with you, Mr. Moneybags, it's probably quite a big amount we're talking about. They're heavy lifting, I suspect. Julia says some ATM limits are 200. Others are 2,000. Strange. Yeah, I think it must depend on the size of the vault behind it, right? Here we go. Conflicting information on the Good Morning Portugal live stream. I think it varies. I think 200 is the general rule. But look, I've had a limit of 150. Julia's had 2,000. Valerie 400. But you have to put your card in twice. Very good. Thank you, Valerie. Buy a train ticket. You can buy a train ticket on a multibanco machine. That's awesome. I didn't know that. A late night ginginha. Ginger drink there for Thane. Very Portuguese, very excellent, Thane. I love you getting into the spirit of things. Bit early for us here, but not too early for an aguardente. I must do that here on the Good Morning Portugal live stream one morning. Let's have an aguardente on a Friday morning, shall we? Looking out the window, can see the madroña tree. That, you know, I've been eating fruit live. I ate a fig. To some people's excitement, would you believe? I ate a feijoa last week. I think I've got to show you the madroña fruit, the strawberry tree, before the season is over. So I must make myself a note to do that. We will get to the weather in just a moment, some news stories, and tell you more about the miracle of the sun. Bom dia, boa semana para todos. Have a good week, everybody, from Nunu. Thank you, Nunu, for flying the flag for the Portuguese language and nation. That hack is new to me. I thought there was other value option where you could specify the amount. Long time not using a Portuguese ATM. As I said, Nuno, I might be wrong with the premise of my life hack, but I was pleased with it anyway. Thank you, Nuno, and thanks for tuning in, mate. And what's the weather like in UK today? In Quinta, shopping in the Algarve, I think the limit is 2,000. Yeah, of course. They want to encourage big spenders in the Algarve, don't they? Get this economy going again. That's one of the news stories this morning, looking at the alleged recovery in the Portuguese economy. Only inside casinos can you have more than 200 euros each time. I think Anna knows a thing or two about money matters in Portugal. I think we'll have to go with her wisdom on this. And it does seem a bit bonkers, really, doesn't it? When people have got the casino feel, when they fancy a flutter, to let them have more than 200 out of the euros is asking for trouble. But there you go. Maximum per day. So it wasn't a joke that Valerie was saying. Maximum per day is 400. 2 times 200. That's really quite strange, isn't it? But 200 at a time. I wonder why. It reminds me of the time, actually, I walked past the cash machine on the Fulham Road in London. And there, I think it was 150 hanging out of the drawer of the machine there. So I thought, you know, that's going to be sucked back in the machine if someone doesn't take that. So I took it and I went into the Charing Cross Hospital, I think it is, or Fulham. Yeah, there was a hospital anyway next to the cash machine. And I gave my name and details. So if anyone comes back for this, give them my number. They can ring me. I just thought, this is awful, isn't it? To put your cash card in, I think it was 150, have that come out and then walk away and leave it there. That would be gutting. I'm sure someone's bound to come back for that. No one ever came back, folks. You can also deposit money, make a transfer to other person or other bank account. Yes, I pay my water bill. I would say I'm not a noob, as they say. I'm an intermediate when it comes to multibanco. But I guess, Anna, you are a black belt multibanco user, telling us what we can do with the multibanco machine. Any other interesting things apart from booking train tickets? That's really fascinating. Does the timetable come up on the screen there? Valerie, there is a way of specifying another amount. You press 1, then press 9, and you guys, you're amazing. And give you, and it gives you the ability to put in what you want, but no more than 200. If you want 400, you have to do it twice. I thought you were joking there, Valerie. A bit like saying, you know, you can only take out you can take out 400, but you have to take out 100 4 times or 58 times or whatever. But there you go. That's the way to do it. Thank you. I'm glad I mentioned it. Aguardente for breakfast. Clearly, you lack chest hair. I certainly do not, Ana Lucia, but I'm not going to prove that right now. Ha, because it will put hair on your chest. It's got to be done on a Friday. Who's up for that? Who's up for an agua dente on Friday with their coffee on the Good Morning Portugal live stream? In North Wales, says Elsa, it's now lovely and sunny with blue skies, thankfully. Been pouring down for a week with the odd hailstorm. So lovely to see the sun again. That's North Wales for you, Elsa, right? I have some memories of going to Bangor and up, past the Brecon Beacons there. It's a beautiful landscape, but it can be very damp, wet, and grey and grim there at times. So glad you've got a bit of sun there. Okay, so let's do this weather, shall we, before we have a look at the miracle of the sun. Seeing people walking along the IC2 near to where I live, heading towards Fatima in the last few days. They are converging there right now. Goodness only knows what's going to happen with the blooming social distancing thing. We shall see, and I'm sure that'll be the matter of some consternation and disapproval among people. But the religious fervor gets to people, doesn't it? There's a kind of priority of of how people behave according to the state that they're in. I guess that's why why the government has banned drinking at petrol stations at the moment. Okay, weather for you now. A bit late on the weather, aren't we? Lisbon, 14 degrees and clear at the moment. We are looking at a high of 24. And as I said yesterday, it's going to be a nice looking week, actually. 4 days of sunshine, ranging from 20 to 24 degrees. But there is some rain forecast in the capital on Saturday. Okay, so we'll see. That may never manifest, but we'll keep an eye on that. Porto is 13 degrees and mostly cloudy at the moment. 20 degrees to look forward to today, terça-feira. Wednesday, looking at 18. Same as Lisbon, really, in Porto this week. A nice day for Tuesday to Friday. Good sunny weather, and then the rain returning at the weekend. Coimbra, it is 11 degrees and partly cloudy in Coimbra this morning. 22, though, the high to look forward to. Loving the differentials in that weather pattern, which I experienced. 4 days of sunshine, starting off at 11, maybe topping out at 22 today, topping out at 25 in Faro this morning with 17 degrees to start. Nice clear day in Faro, 25 to look forward to, 24 tomorrow. Gets a bit cloudy Thursday and Friday, but still some very tasty temperatures for you. So there you go. There's your weather. Let us have a look now at the, very quickly, before we go on to these other news items, I'll share with you the miracle of, it's the Milagre de Fatima, or the Milagre de Sol. And if I put on the screen now, this beautiful picture, it's really amazing, this whole story. When we arrived in Portugal in 2017, it was, of course, the centenary of the miracle of Fatima. If you can see the screen now, I urge you to do so. These are the people, 30,000, 40,000, some estimates, 100,000 people who, because of a vision of three shepherd children in 1917, a little earlier, I think in the summer, they were visited by Mary, Our Lady, and were told to return to this. They asked for a miracle. And as some sort of, not evidence, I suppose, but a demonstration, and that they could share with other people, I suspect. And the vision told them to have people come back to this field on the 13th of October, which is, of course, today. And look, many, many people did. The estimates are 30, 40, 100,000 people. And I love these pictures of 1917 Portugal. The women there in their shawls and headscarves, the men in their three-piece suits, fabulous pictures. And look, here they are in a newspaper report from the time, looking up to the sky, waiting for the miracle to occur. Now, I'll tell you a little bit more about it. I went into some detail on this last night on the Portugal show, which is what we do in the evenings. But I do want to tell you about what happened in the end, if I can find it here on, the event. Here we go. Various claims have been made as to what actually happened. According to many witnesses, after a period of rain, the dark clouds broke and the sun appeared as an opaque spinning disc in the sky. It was said to be significantly duller than normal and to cast multicolored lights across the landscape, the people, and the surrounding clouds. The sun was then reported to have careened downwards towards the earth. Excuse me, careened is a new word to me. It means moving at a pace and from side to side. I'd never heard of that word until I looked this up last night. But the sun was reported to have careened towards the earth before zigzagging back to its normal position. Witnesses reported that their previously wet clothes became suddenly and completely dry, as well as the wet and muddy ground that had been previously soaked because of the rain that had been falling. Not all witnesses reported seeing the sun dance. Some people only saw the radiant colors, and others, including some believers, saw nothing at all. The only picture of the sun taken during the event shows nothing unusual. But amazing pictures if you go look it up on Wikipedia and see the old pictures from 1917. So there you go. That is, well, those are our Palavras do Dia. Milagre de Sol. Isn't it good to know the word miracle in Portuguese? And of Sol, of course, I suspect you already know. So let's have a look at some news items, bringing us right back up to date. Are these comments for me? No, they're not. There's folks saying hi to each other. That's really lovely. And Ferry is impressed with all that we can do on the multi-banco cash machine. You spend more time in there than in Euro Disney. It's true. And you don't have to pay to get in. There are some new machines for money that would charge you money for. They are not multi-banco net. Yes, it's best avoided, isn't it? When they want to charge you money for taking out your money. Very naughty. And they're usually in tourist areas, aren't they, as well? Catherine's being very friendly, saying hello to everybody. Good morning to you, Catherine. And so, okay, over to an interesting news item that I wanted to share with you. Oh, yes, I've still got to tell you about Vodafone, haven't I? I'll come back to that in just a while. And awaiting your other Portuguese life hacks. What things have you learned that you wouldn't have learned from a tourist guide? You will have only learned from your own, perhaps bitter or bittersweet experience of living here. So Portuguese life hacks, please, in the comments, if you will, whilst I tell you about this cruise liner story. This is I think a awkward timing story. Let's put it like that. Iconic Funchal cruise ship left high and dry in Lisbon, and I really like news. This is a story. You know, I think some news should be called an article, or a piece, or just news, and then there are stories, because this has a really interesting human angle to it. You know, that tells you something about the person behind the story. The characters, I guess. The iconic Funchal cruise ship sold so promisingly at auction 2 years ago for 3.9 million euros is back in the doldrums. Nice. Thanks to a combination of the pandemic and people possibly dreaming to excess. And is this Natasha? It is Natasha Don, our favorite journalist at our favorite outlet. Hold on a moment. Let me just show you a picture of the boat. Look at the boat for a moment while I have a sip of tea, if you will, please. Last night I took a sip of wine, and then I forgot to put I drink on the evening show. I think it's appropriate and right, but actually I'm having to reconsider that, because last night I muted up the mic to have a sip of wine, and I forgot to unmute it. So there I was talking to myself for a little while until people very kindly told me there was no sound. Reviewing that at the moment, reviewing that one, and hold on a minute. A pronunciation alert. Please say the O as in Oscar for sol, not soul, as that what it sounds like when you say it. Open the O out. She's a hard task mistress, isn't she? But I'm grateful for it, Ana Lucia. I do like your bad cop approach to me and my Portuguese. So say sol, sol, sol. I hope that's right. And thank you for that intervention. Okay, back to the story. Here we are, the 3.9 million euro Funchal cruise ship, one of 4 boats, and a boast as well. If you can afford to buy a boat for 3.9 million, I suspect you might boast about it. One of 4 boats purchased in 2013 with an unsecured bank loan. Unsecured, you got a boat as collateral from Montepio by mercurial Portuguese businessman Rui Alegre, once married to Portugal's richest woman, Paula Amorim. The noble boat was destined to be turned into a floating fun palace. And that's why I think this is a story and not an article, because it has that wonderful, engaging atmosphere about it, doesn't it? You want to know more. What happens to Rui Alegre? What happened with him and Paula Amorim? But the company that snapped it up with dreams of sailing to Ibiza has now gone into administration itself. Oh dear. After 5 years waiting for new life, the boat is very possibly never going to get one. Oh, says Negocio Online, its maintenance costs alone run to around 40,000 euros a month. And these, along with the costs of recuperating the ship, as well as paying for its prolonged immobilization at Matinha docks, will very likely mean the next trip will be to the scrapyard. No, sacrilege. That is terrible. Surely we can do something better with it than scrapping it. This is exactly what happened to sister ships Porto, Lisboa, and may also be destiny of the fourth cruise ship Astoria, which has been stuck at Tilbury docks in the UK for years and was due to be towed to Lisbon this autumn. Now, come on, guys. Do we need to do a crowdfunder for one of these and have it as the good? We can rename it the Good Morning Portugal, and we'll have, I don't know, we'll make it a hotel, a floating hotel, moored up occasionally in Lisbon, sometimes Porto, up and down the Atlantic coast. Come on, that's such a shame that these four ships that I'm sure in their heyday were the most amazing vessels are now facing this possible destiny. What do you think about that? What do you think about that? As I tell you, I suppose this is in some way connected about the Portuguese economy now. Have we got enough money to buy this in the coffers? Jay saying pirate radio. You could do some pirate radio on that. We could have four. We could have one each, Jay. We could talk to each other from our two boats and see who else wants the others. Anna's saying if you need to go to the finances, and it is a lot of people who need to do that, you should go about 1 hour before it closes, and you will see that they will work very fast. There's your life hack. There's your Portuguese life hack. What's the best time to go to Finanças? Go 1 hour before it closes, and you'll see productivity spike. Brilliant. Thanks, Anna, for that. Really appreciate it. The Portuguese economy, then, let's go to that and see what's happening. And it's so interesting, isn't it, with reports of the economy, because so often what's read about or reported on TV or the radio about the economy, people think, hold on a minute, that's not my experience of it. But according to economists and according to Natasha Don in the Portugal Resident yesterday, this is published 12th of October, Portugal's economy has definitely recovered in the last 3-month period, although she does put recovered in inverted commas, though the jury is out on exactly by how much. Oh, okay, it's one of those kind of statistics things, says Expresso today. Economists, on average, again in inverted commas, saw an expansion of 7.6% in relation to the previous trimester, which covered the pandemic lockdown, and a fall of 10.2% when compared to the same period in 2019. But there are huge divergences on the dimension of the recovery. The biggest doubt resides in its buoyancy. So it's quite good how I've paired those two news items, a ship that faces sinking and an economy that has doubts over its buoyancy. Projections by various sources, BPI, the forecasting lab, and NECEP of the Catholic University of Lisbon, ESEG, the Economic Analysis Group, Millennium BCP, and Santander differ wildly. Who'd have thought it? Though they are all fairly agreed on the fact that whatever happens will still far short of levels pre-COVID. Oh dear. Indeed, there are those who think GDP will remain in negative territory until the first 3-month period of 2021. The Bank of Portugal, however, is hopeful, upgrading its forecast of GDP contraction from 9.5% to 8.1%. Governor Mario Centeno has stressed that he sees a rapid recovery, if not a V-shaped recovery, sustained by policies and preparation of the Portuguese economy to respond to the challenges ahead. Indeed, Centeno went so far as to dub the third trimester recovery as very strong. Tourism, however, played a key role. While July was disappointing, August was a great deal better, but the next 3-month period will have a negligible tourism, though better possibly than the 3 months between April and June. Exports, however, are picking up much faster than imports, and that's to do with the bicycles, no doubt, that we reported on a few days ago, says Expresso. Data from INE, the National Statistics Institute, shows exports in August fell by just 1.4% compared to the same period in 2019. In other words, the change was residual. In July, they had contracted by 7.1. Imports fell by 11.6 in August. Look at this. Imports fell by 20.4% in July. It's simply the unknown that divides the economists. With there's an irony in this, given that it's the Catholic University and they are dealing with the unknown. It's simply the unknown that divides economists, with the Catholic University's forecasting lab / NECP being particularly pessimistic about the evolution of exports, especially when it comes to tourism. And the whole issue of internal consumption also raising questions. Sales of cars apparently well down, as are people's habits of eating out or spending money outside the home. Folks, we've got to do that. Us expats got to support those local businesses, those local heroes, right? As I was saying yesterday, I think if we possibly can, we should. Says the ESEG, in sectoral terms, among most positive aspects is a strong recovery of industrial production and turnover in retail trade. Less pronounced is the turnover in services. Meantime, the situation of the pandemic continues to hog the headlines, with case numbers rising exponentially. Let's do a little bit of that here as we continue with this article. Virologists have stressed this is only to be expected given the opening up of the economy and schools. Health authorities insist they are better prepared, with campaign hospitals set to return during the winter if numbers entering hospital spike. For now, roughly 70% of beds in intensive care are occupied by COVID patients, which Health Secretary Antonio Lastera de Salles stresses leaves room for comfort. We are well prepared, and even with these numbers, we have capacity and space for comfort. The North and Lisbon areas remain those with the highest case numbers and majority of deaths, though these deaths are predominantly in the 75 plus age group, concludes the article on rather a glum note there. As we find ourselves working our way through the economic implications here, as I've just mentioned, of the pandemic. So yes, still for me, investment in social capital, I think, is where it's at, right? A little bit more independence, interdependence, and community-based local living, looking after each other on a local basis. Back to your comments now. Let's have a look. Wow, Catherine has been busy this morning, and that was my pronunciation, wasn't it? And that was the life hack to do with finances. It's been a while. Hendrik Lamar, good morning to you. It's been a while. It has indeed. Great to have you back, Hendrik. And hola, bon dia to you as well. I can't remember. Oh, yeah, I think Ana Lucia is saying that's true, lol, about finances. Wonder how much, says Garvo. Good morning to you, Garvo. Got a lovely little vignette story to share about Gary's, well, what is it? The prelude to him being his Portuguese prelude. We'll do that tonight on our Portuguese Positive News show. It's called the Portugal Show now, from Monday to Wednesday. But on Tuesday, we have our special guest. Donna Jacqueline will be back, and we will be focusing on Portuguese Positive News. If you have any, join us tonight, and a little prelude from Gary on his journey here. And something about the human spirit, really, and determination and inspiration from Gary. So we'll do that this evening as well. Wonder, he says, how much it would cost to make a block of flats in Lisbon. Don't scrap the ship, use it as floating accommodation. One of my first thoughts, Gary, homeless people, boats being scrapped. It doesn't really make sense, does it? Boats are expensive, says Neil. Sailing is reported as the most expensive form of free travel. Yes, indeed. That and camper vans, right? Always much more expensive than you imagine, and more of not even an investment, really, is it? But just endless spending of money to pursue what you thought might be a nice little hobby. I'd happily support the local community and even buy a property if I could get a flight out. Yeah, indeed. Booked twice in October and both flights cancelled. Gutted. I'm so sorry, Elsa. Maybe we'll have to do some sort of proxy spending or something. Send it over to me. I'll spend it for you, maybe. Is that one solution to that difficulty? or I know, send the money over and I'll invest in a wine cellar for you and look after it so it's all ready for your arrival. Sorry to make light of that situation. You know, I'm just having a bit of fun with you, and I hope you can get here. As with all our American, we think it's bad in Europe moving about. But on the Portugal show that we do in the evening, we talk to a lot of American and Canadian listeners. They just cannot get into the country for love nor money. Prohibited, banned, can't move, and no sign of when that might ease up. We really don't work. But I think Elsa likes my idea of me doing some proxy spending surrogate spending, we'll call it, the surrogate spending plan. If the good folks of the Good Morning Portugal community who are already here, the likes of Neil and Gary and Valerie, we're here already in Portugal, we'll gladly manage your Portuguese spending budget for you. And we can't, obviously the value of investments can go up as well as down, as you've seen from the ships there. But we'll do our best. Wouldn't it be great? We could invest in one of those ships. Oh, amazing. And we'll sail over and come and get you. Okay, so just finally then, Vodafone. I had, it's getting very parochial and personal and specific now, but I think it's worth mentioning this. Had a lovely relationship. This is a bit like our tune. I should have that music playing in the background. A broken love affair with Vodafone. First network I used when I was in Portugal. 2 phones, one for me, one for Mrs. M. Very expensive. Then we added the fiber to it in the house, for the broadband and so on. Very happy. Expensive, but happy, reliable. And there was that time when I drilled through the fiber and they came and replaced it. And they even reimbursed me for the time I wasn't online, even though it was me that had put a zip bit through the fiber cable. And I thought I could mention, you cannot repair fiber cable with gaffer tape. I can tell you, right? So that is a sort of unlife hack. You call Vodafone and you say, I'm sorry, can you come and repair it? And they pay you back for the time you've been offline. It was amazing. So really good service, expensive. But I've always found them good. And then when I moved just recently, I needed to change my fiber provider because Vodafone couldn't provide that bit. And the young man in the shop who I know, Diogo, really great guy he's a local hero at the Anadia Vodafone agents. He said to me, oh, that's fine. If we can't give you fiber access, we'll just stop that service. Obviously you won't have to pay any penalties or anything. And that avoids the contract. And we'll keep the phones going. Next thing I know, it's a few weeks ago now, my phone's not working. Mrs. M's phone isn't working. So they've cut the whole lot off. Instead of just taking the fiber out of the package, they've killed the whole package. I've lost all my loyalty points. My phone's not working, plunged into mobile darkness, basically, by their error to cut the whole lot off in what felt like a vicious act of spite. And I've lost all my loyalty points. I was really gathering a load of loyalty points, which gives you some serious discounts off their stuff. And so I've changed to Mayo now, which is good. And Miguel in the Mayo shop in Anadia, he's another great guy. Really helpful, got me sorted out the fiber. And when I went back to tell him that Vodafone had cut me off, he sorted me out with a much better deal than Vodafone, much better value. But then when the SIM cards came, you can't pick them up, they have to be sent. When the SIM cards came, SIM's locked, the PUK code is locked. Vodafone only locked the phones as well and have to go and unlock them. And they might want to charge me for unlocking the phones. So bottom line is, just in terms of life hacks, life advice, whatever, lifestyle stuff, Good Morning Portugal, Expats Portugal style. Vodafone, if you get a phone from them, if you buy a phone from them, it is locked to their network. It's the only one in Portugal that does it, apparently, according to Miguel at Mayo. And so if you want to buy a phone from Vodafone and you get out of the contract before 6 months, you have to pay to unlock it as well. And you can only unlock their phones at major stores. You can't go to their agents. So on that really whingy note, I wish you a very good day. And the good news is tonight, folks, hopefully that will save you a little bit of inconvenience. But your Portuguese positive news, happy homesteading tonight with Donna Jacqueline from 10 o'clock on the Portugal Show. This has been Good Morning Portugal with expatsportugal.com. And I'm so grateful for your company and your positivity, your upbeatness, and all your help via the comments this morning. So, até já, próxima, beijinhos, abraços.